Hi, today we're going to be talking about the values of a music education and why it's good for you. Stick around and find out. Hi, my name's Andrew.
My name's Jason.
And today we're going to be talking about music education here in San Antonio, Texas at Alamo Music Center. Jason, how old were you when you picked up your first horn?
Sixth grade. No, fifth grade.
Fifth grade?
Yeah, in Thermopolis, Wyoming, we started band in fifth grade.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started, I was 8 years old. My dad, he's a saxophone player and stuff like that, and that was like my, what was it, fourth grade or something like, or 8, whenever we were 8, gave me a saxophone. I was like, let's try this out. But I never really got to join classes or anything until I was like in middle school, like halfway through sixth grade and stuff like that. Did you just like start from there and then like kind of just grew from there and stuff like that, or?
Well, I started in fifth grade band, and then in eighth grade, I got kicked out of band because I was kind of a handful. And then when we moved to a new town, my mother forced me to join high school band.
Forced?
Yeah, it was
Just needed something to do?
like, you're gonna do this.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay.
Oh, cool.
So I joined band, and it literally changed the course of my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I got my first horn when I was like super young and stuff like that. Never really took it seriously. And then I tried to join band in sixth grade. At the time, I lived in Ramstein, Germany, on one of those Air Force bases and stuff.
Right,
Dad was
right.
military and all that. And he wanted me to get, a good education with music and stuff. But the guy that was teaching at the Air Force Base at the time didn't have any kind of education in it. They were just kind of someone who was there and decided to teach band and all that kind of stuff. So he's like, not that one. So I didn't start actually band classes until like halfway through middle school when I finally moved to the States, moved here to San Antonio, Texas, and everything like that.
With professional teachers.
With professional teachers, qualified all the way to go, which is honestly kind of the best way to do it.
Right.
What was your experience like, especially from the beginning? Like, how about before you got kicked out, right? Well, what were some of the best things about it that you got out of it?
I always enjoyed playing. I mean, from Jump Street, like I really enjoyed playing. I was one of those kids that would sit and back then there was this album that came out by Herb Alpert called Rise. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite things to do was to sit and this was an 8-track, so I'm old, but I would play along with that 8-track. So I started learning to play things by ear that way. And when you do that, you get good pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because the interest was always there.
Mm-hmm.
Interest was never my issue.
Right.
My mouth was generally the issue.
Right. That'll happen. It's easy to get distracted. I mean, you're sitting there enjoying something and stuff like that. You kind of want to just, vibe out and have a good time. Like for me, I had no interest in the actual music that was being performed for people, like live music or anything. What I liked doing was I liked sitting down with my saxophone and stuff like that and trying to figure out tunes from like games that I like to play.
Okay.
Growing up, my dad was playing jazz, playing pop music. My mom was a French horn player, so she was playing classical music all the time. I would hear God knows how many French horn excerpts. And I had no interest in any of that kind of stuff. So what was really cool was I got the chance to sit down with people like next to me and stuff who had kind of the same interests, right? Like they listened to some of the same music, they were in the same interesting things, and I got to kind of experiment alongside them and stuff. Did you ever make any like groups coming out of like school or anything like that you can kind of?
No, not really. I think really where my interest in making a living took off is when I first joined the Troopers Drum and Bugle Corps in Casper. And when I first joined, they still had a B Corps.
Yeah.
So I started in the B Corps, and the horn I was playing on was an old school bugle. So it had a rotary valve and a piston valve.
Yeah.
You played it with 2 hands.
Like so the thumb was both on the compensating sides and stuff like that?
back in the day when everybody was using those piston rotors on the judge's sheet, there was a thing that, well, one of the descriptors was manual dexterity.
Right.
How well you were able to negotiate that.
That's amazing
instead of
that they
playing
keep track of it.
Yeah, And I have an old bugle. I should bring it in sometime.
Yeah. Well, like, so when we talk about like when you joined school and everything, post getting like, getting kicked out or something like that, and you go into high school, one of the best things about education did for me personally was the camaraderie of it all, right? I mean, speaking as someone who grew up in the whole band scene here in San Antonio, Texas and everything, a lot of what I got out of it was being able to cooperate with a group of people, learning how to lead, especially, be given opportunities to make opportunities as well, which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah, and if you're able to take advantage of that, it's amazing. I'm sure through school that's how you found out about like drum bugle corps and everything. Were you like super interested in that at a young age? Did you have an opportunity to do that back then? Or?
Yeah. My grandmother used to take me to the drum corps show in Casper. My first drum corps show was in 1972.
Nice.
So, actually, no, I'm sorry, it was 1971. So it was the year before DCI was founded.
Okay, yeah.
So it was like old school.
Grassroots, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And because it was Casper and the Troopers were huge back then, the best groups in the world would be in Casper. The Madison Scouts, the Santa Clara Vanguard, the Blue Devils, like all those kind of groups would actually come to Casper. The Chicago Cavaliers.
Yeah.
So you'd get to see these great groups. And there was something about it that I always knew, okay, someday I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But, getting into the group thing, I mean, when I taught, I would give basically the same speech to anybody I taught, whether it was the high school groups I taught or drum corps. I mean, really the value of it, the music part is almost secondary.
Right.
I would tell people, we're using this as a lens to learn the value of work, learn the value of others' work, and just learn how to be the kind of person that gives energy instead of an energy vampire.
Right. Yeah. No, it just completely takes it. I brought a lot of time especially when I was beginning in high school. We had marching band, we had concert band. What really brought me, or like really gave me an opportunity to feel myself like as a person, was jazz band. Right. We got to play a ton of cool stuff, and the band director I had at the time, he was great because we wouldn't just play like standards and stuff. We would play music that I was growing up with at that time. There's this show at the time that was airing was called Cowboy Bebop. And yeah, it's great anime. Anyways, before we go way off topic, but they had this opening and it was called Tank, and it's this great opening by the Seatbelts, and we got to play that in jazz band, and I got to learn what it's like to actually play stuff that I wanted to play. Right, we weren't just sitting in
playing in the mood.
Yeah, right. We're not just playing in the mood. We're not playing a bunch of Kelly, doing that whole thing. It was stuff that I was like, oh, I grew up with this. I heard this on TV. I've always wanted to hear to play this. And then, about 10 years later, I got to play it in a cover band. It was awesome. But like being able to do that, and so the opportunities that was afforded me through that, and learning that I could express myself through that, totally because of that, being able to do it in school. Another part that I was able to learn through it was like a lot of leadership values. I never got to do, I never strived, I just wanted to play, right? I spent most of my time just practicing and everything like that. I never really wanted to become like the section leader or the drum major or anything, because I knew 100% that I ain't gonna be able to play as much if I do that stuff, right? But the people that got it and everything, they ended up going really far. Like they got to learn how to organize. They got to learn how to communicate with the people, how to basically take the band director's directions and everything and communicate it effectively across a large group of people.
Yep.
So you taught high school, right?
I did.
Yeah, how long?
Officially as a public school teacher, 6 years.
Yeah.
But I had been teaching really since my senior year in high school. For whatever reason, I guess Mr. Jones, the director of the corps, saw something in me to where he thought it was a good idea to put me in front of the B Corps.
Mm-hmm.
So I started teaching the B Corps. Back then I'd come in and, do whatever I was doing, mainly ape what I saw my instructors in the A Corps doing, which is how anybody learns how to teach. So that was really the beginning of my teaching. I started teaching drum corps officially in 1990. I've been a freelancer up until just a couple years ago. I still help out groups here and there.
Master classes, that kind of thing.
Master classes, helping out with the marching band, giving private lessons, all that kind of stuff. But as an official head band director, it was 6 years.
Oh, cool.
Up in Colorado.
What do you think, as far as like when you're in high school, right? What do you think are some of the things you tried to hammer home or with the students and stuff like that they could take it later on? Is that something that was more...
Well, the value of work
Yeah.
and the value and having a real appreciation for what the people who were doing the work with them were doing. And I had a really great bunch of kids who got it. I've never had discipline problems with students. I taught versions of me.
Right. Gotcha.
But being me and seeing a little bit of me in those kind of kids, I kind of knew how to talk to them.
Yeah.
So I never kicked anybody out of band. That never happened.
Right. You should.
So, but yeah, just the value of work, and then, as an individual, learning how to work on something with a lot of detail. Because I used to build models when I was a kid, but I wasn't very detailed with it. I'd just throw them together. I was never a painter. I never did all the extra stuff. But then after I started playing and learned how to practice and all that, and actually it was my mother who noticed it. She's like, your models look a lot better now. And I started thinking about oh, maybe that's from learning how to do this.
Yeah, no,
I made that connection pretty quick.
Oh, man. And I gotta tell you, having to be responsible for an instrument,
right?
That's like in that same alley. Like just once you start band, you're giving this super expensive instrument, right? And it's a huge investment for a lot of people. And you're trusting it to a kid. So having that opportunity to be responsible for something like that and taking care of it, that gave me a large appreciation for a lot of things that I had later in life.
Yep.
Especially as far as like, I knew by being able to take care of my saxophone, I knew how to be responsible for my car, how to be responsible for like my computer and stuff like that. It kind of bled into all that kind of thing. So like another big facet of it, like we discussed before, was the whole camaraderie aspect of it. When I was in middle school band, I like playing and I like doing my own thing. And in middle school band, you get the opportunity to like sit in a section, you make friends and everything. But it wasn't until high school that I really came out of my shell, because marching band is huge. I don't know if what a good word for it is, but it really brought out this sense of order and discipline to where I was able to latch onto it effectively and live through it, right? So you did drum bugle corps and all that kind of stuff. What are some really cool, like, I don't know, tenets or stuff that you learned coming out of that experience that music education and everything like that afforded you because you were able to do these kind of things?
Personal responsibility and personal accountability. It wasn't until, and this is going to sound really stupid, but it's the truth, I didn't figure out until my second year of drum corps that what was coming out my bell was audible.
Right.
Like, it never dawned on me that somebody could hear what I was doing until somebody was, putting me on the spot and go, play from A to B, play 2-note lip slur.
Oh yeah.
And then it's just you, and it's sink or swim.
Oh yeah. I kind of had the same kind of moment at my junior year of high school. We did this show, And in the middle of it, we had like a woodwind feature. And God bless woodwinds, man, on the marching field. Doesn't work very well. And I was playing tenor saxophone, all that kind of stuff. And there was this beautiful, like, harmonious part where everyone was kind of in it. It was a tenor sax, but it was also a clarinet, flute, and some altos and stuff like that. My volume was way too much. And it came out, they were like, the tenor saxophone in front, I swear to God, he's being picked up by the mic. Yes, good stuff. It was a comment on the actual page. Yeah. So the personal accountability and understanding that it could be you, right? In a group effort, it could be you that might be the problem and everything like that. Yeah. So being able to learn that really helped out.
I think there's that piece of it. Plus, I think you learn that just because you played it 10 times right doesn't guarantee the 11th.
Mm-hmm. Or playing in a group in general.
Right.
That's huge.
Like, you always have to put in the right amount of energy in what you're doing to get the result you want.
Exactly.
It's never automatic.
Well, thank you so much for watching. Again, my name's Andrew.
My name's Jason.
And we are here in Alamo Music Center in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. Again, please come to our website at alamomusic.com and like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And if you hit that bell button, you'll be able to get notifications for any video that comes out later. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.